Hello everyone. Today we are going to solve the scripts related to Chapter 6. As we can see, we were talking about the one-to-one relationship. So we are going to go through all the needed scripts to acquire the necessary knowledge about this concept. Okay, so we will open the My SQL workbench. Then we will load the script related to the chapter 6, and then we are going to run this script. So I'll go to the relevant folder and go to the relevant script, which is the chapter 6 script. Then we will open it inside my SQL workbench and try to run all the script here. Okay, so we can see the script. First of all, we have to create the database. So we select the database. We can run all the script at once, but let's do it step by step. So at first, we are going to create the database. So we will run this instruction only. As we can see, we did it. We created the database. So we can refresh here in the navigator, and we can see that we have a new database called organization. Then we will continue creating the other elements or objects. Second, we have to use the instruction here, use organization, to make it active, to make this database active. So we will click on this instruction and then click on the use organization, and also we did it. Then we are going to create a table called DPT or department. Let's do it. So okay, successfully created. Then we are going to create another table called EMP, and we are going to click on the execute the statement under the keyword cursor, which is the create table employee table, and we will click it. So we are here in a good situation. We have now a database called organization. We make it active, and then we have two different tables. One is called department and the other one called EMP or employee. The second step, we are going to import data into the department table using data import wizard. So we are going to refresh again in the navigator and click on the tables, and we can see the tables here. So we are going to insert the data into the department table using the data import wizard. So we will click on department, right click on department and go to table data import wizard and browse for the file that contains the data of the department table. So we can see here we have the chapter 6 department table, which is an CSV file, and we are going to open it effectively to select it and then click on next, another next. As we can see here, we can see the structure. Okay, and we click another next, and we start preparing to import the data. By clicking here, we can see that I have 5 records imported to the database into the relevant table. So we click on finish. Okay, we can check if the data is good. Right click on department and select rows limit to 1000. We can see that we have the data here. Okay, as we can see here in the menu, we can switch between the different tabs. We can click on the chapter 6 and see all the script, the whole script here. And in the department tab, we can see that we used the select star from organization.department to select the data inside the department table. The next step here, we are going to switch to the first tab and go to these lines. Here we are using the insert command to insert data into the table of employees. Okay, so we have the data of the department. We just imported them from the CSV file. Now we are going to insert the data for the employee one by one. Let's click on the insert into employee, and we can see that here the structure of the table, all the fields, all the columns are here, and we insert into them the values like this one. The first one will be one Alice, 75,000 and management. What do these means? They mean that no, employee number is one, the name employee first name is Alice, the employee salary is 75,000, and the department name management. So we are going to click on the scaler, execute the same under the keyboard cursor, and we click on it, and we can see here that one row affected, so we have a new record here. Let's check it here. Select rows limit 2000. We have one record which is recently inserted via the insert into the table. We switch back to the chapter 6 script, and then we continue inserting the data. As you can see, you can observe them inserted one by one, and I can insert them all together, but let's try it one by one to see the affection here. So I'll try to insert them one by one, as you can see, and finally the last record, and I can check them here by clicking right on the employee table and then select rows limit 1000. I can see all the 9 records. If we skip one, we can insert it again. I can see here that there is no 5 and no 6. So let's go back to the chapter 6 and click on this one to insert it again, and the number 6 again we will insert it here. So I will check it again. Okay, let me check the employee table, and I can see that all the records are here now inside the table. Okay, now we can start trying the querying one-to-one relationship. As we can see here in the example, list the salary of each department's boss, and we can try it here by this kind of queries. As you can see, we can say select employee first name, department name, employee salary from the employee table, and we put the condition here, and we put a subquery inside it. We can search for the employee number inside this subquery to select the employee first name, department, and salary. So let's go and run it. As we can see here that Alice in the department management, and its salary, and her salary is 75,000, Nat marketing 45,000, Todd accounting 38,000, and so on. Okay, so we can see that the query is giving us the relevant and the appropriate result out of the select statement. To explain this query, we can say that the selection here is based on a condition that says that the select employee number from the department, as we said before in the explanation inside the class, that we put the employee number, which is the primary key in the employee table, we put it in the table, which is in the department table, which is a department table. Usually we don't put the foreign key here, which is the primary key in the first table. So we put it here to just to direct the user or the one who reads the table, or who checks the table, that the employee here is the head or the boss of the department. That's it. So we can select the employee number from the department, which means that the one we found is the head of the department. So we can compare it to the where clause here and compare it to the employee number in the effectively employee table. So as you can see that we have an employee table, and we are going to check if this employee is the head of the department. Okay, so that's why we put the subquery to select all the bosses of the different departments, so we can select or list all the salaries of each department's boss. That's it. So we are going to run it again. Anyways, we will get the same result, because here I can see that Alice is the head of the management department, and her salary is 75,000. Maybe Sophie is the head of personnel and PR, and her salary is 35,000. We can check this again in another method. We can use a join. So as we know that we can use join to find the relationship between two different tables. Here we select employee first name, department name, employee salary, the same as the select above. From the employee table, it join the department table on the employee number. So this one can show us that the employee is the head of the department. So we can check it here and compare it here. So we can find that the matching here can assure the relationship between the two tables, which are the department and the employee, and we are sure here that we are searching for the head of the department or the boss of the department, and then list the salary of him or her. Now we are going to try querying a recursive one-to-many relationship. The example here is asking about to find the salary of Nancy's boss. As we can see here, we are using something called a with. The with is to join a table to itself by creating maybe two copies, effectively, of the table. We can call it again, we can call it common table expression, if you would like to say that. We can create two aliases, like here. We can create work, which represents the select star from employee, and the boss is representing here the employee again, but we have two different references. So we can create two aliases, the work and boss, for the employee table. Okay, this is required effectively so that SQL can distinguish between a copy of the table is reference. So here we can do the traditional selection with the traditional join, but here we are pointing to two different effectively tables, which are the same table, which is the employee, but with two different references. So here we are talking with the work, which is the select star of the employee, all the data of the employee table, and we deal with the boss. So we can consider them two different tables, but we write a traditional select statement as we have two different tables. So this is a normal SQL. You can consider that work is a table and boss is another table, and you can select them and join them together by referencing each one of them and put the right condition and get the answer. So let's run this instruction. As you can see that Nancy has a boss maybe salary, okay, employee salary 22,000, and employee first name is Todd, which has the salary of 38,000. We can read this one, this select, so we can see that the worker first name is Nancy, the worker employee salary is 22,000, which is the salary of Nancy, and boss first name is Todd, and the salary of the boss, Todd I mean, is 38,000. We will continue with our examples. Now we have another statement of a question. We have to find the name of the employees who earn more than their boss. Okay, let's see what is going here. As we used before, we can use here the with and create two different aliases. The first one is WRK, which is workers, and we can see that the worker alias can represent the table employee. It has all the data of the employee table. The boss has all the data, and we can select the worker first name from the worker here and join the boss on worker boss number, boss employee number. So we compare the boss number in the worker table, if we can say that, which is the alias of the employee table, with the employee number in the table boss, which is the alias that represent the employee table again, and we can set the condition here where the worker employee salary greater than the boss salary. Let's run this SQL. We can see that Sarah has effectively or earns more than her boss. Okay. Now we are going to work with the many-to-many recursive relationship. As we did before, we are going to create two tables. So we are going to create the table product and assembly respectively. Create table product, we can see the structure here with the data types, and the primary key of this table is product ID. So we are going to create it. So it's created. So now we are going to create the second table, and okay, and now we have to import data into the tables. Querying a recursive M2M relationship, example list the list of product identifier of each component of the animal photography kit. So I'm going to go to the tables, the CSV files, to import them into the tables recently created. So I will refresh my navigator, and I can see that there are 4 tables under organization database, and I'm going to import data to the product table and then to the assembly table. So let's go and do it. Right click on the product and table data import wizard and browse for the data in the folder. So I'm going to import the product from the CSV file, click on next and another next, and then we can see that there is data inside this CSV file, and click on next again, preparing the import, and we can check the number of records imported and click on finish. We can query them, select rows limit to 1000, and we can see that we have 9 records here. So go back to the script and check the assembly table, and we have now to import data into this assembly table from the data in the repository. Right click on assembly and go to the table data import wizard, and then browse for the file and check the assembly table of chapter 6 here and open, and click on next and next and next again, and we prepare the import and import data file. We can check after this next the number of records imported and click on the finish. You can find these files, these CSV files in GCR, so you can download them and try to import them after creating the database, so you can import all the data to the database, to the tables in the database. So now we can start trying to run some select statements on the imported data to this database, and we are going to querying the 2 new tables, which are the product and the assembly table. The first query we are going to try is to querying a recursive M2M relationship. The example here is talking about the list of product identifier of each component of the animal photography kit. So we are going to deal with the 2 tables, the 2 new tables, and querying them. So we are trying to select the subprod ID from the product table, join the assembly on product.product ID to the assembly product ID. So we are going to use the traditional join between the 2 tables and based on a condition, and the condition here is where prod description is equal to animal photography kit. So we are going to run this statement to see the result here, and as we can see that the sub product ID are listed here. Okay, so let's go back to the script and check it again. So we have to select the sub product ID, and we have to list them from the product table by joining the assembly on the product ID, assembly product ID. Upon this condition, based on the condition which says that product description equal to animal photography kit. So let's go now to the other example. So we have to list the product description and cost of each of the animal photography kit. We are going to list the product description and the cost of each of the animal photography kits. So we have to list the product description and the product cost. So of course you can see that in the product table we can see the structure by selecting maybe to the rows, limit to the 1000, and we can see the heads of the columns here. Those column heads are the names of the columns. You can see it here directly. Of course we can see it in another way, but now we can use this practical method to check the names of the fields of this table. Go back to the script and check it again. So select the product description and the product cost from the product table, where the product ID in the subquery, this subquery is talking about selecting the sub-product ID from the product, join the assembly on product ID, assembly product ID. So we can compare here the product ID with the product ID in the other table and set the condition where the product description is animal photography kit. The aim of this select is to list the product description and cost of each of the animal photography kit. So that's why we select the product description and the product cost. So let's run this statement, and as we can see, let me check, I have to click on this one, so I'll run it again. I can see here that product description and the product cost, as we can see here. So we can find the product description with its cost one by one as a list, or by using the with. And we know that with can help us create two copies of the same table, and we called before common table expression, or CTE. So we can create two different copies of the table, which is the product here. So we create an alias called A and an other alias called B, which are the aliases that represent the same table, which is the product. So we select B product description and B product cost from A, which is the selection of all the product, which is the first alias that represents the product table, and here we can deal with it as a table, as a normal table. Join the assembly on a.product ID, assembly.product ID. So I can compare them right now by using the product table and compare them to the same product ID in the other table, which is assembly. So I can deal with the assembly by joining to the A and compare to check the selection I need. Join B on assembly the super product ID and call it b.prod ID, because B also represents what the product table in this situation. And now we set the condition where A dot product description, which is the product animal photography kit. We are now comparing the product description in the A table with the product description animal photography kit. So let's now run this script and check the result. As we can see that product description, we have camera case, and we have product cost. So let's run the previous effectively script again, and as we can see, sorry, I have to click on this one, run. As we can see that we have the same result, so we can click on this to check this result, and or the second method with so this is the first method, and we have here another method. Here we can use the subquery, and in this way, in this method, we can use the with the aliases by making two copies of the same table and deal with them inside the SQL statement. And now thank you for watching. See you.